It's hurting your heart all over the world. You know, we're not the only city, school, family that this happens to, and this is not how life should be.
Developing tonight, heartbreak in one Northern California community after a 5-year-old and a 6-year-old were shot at their school today. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. Authorities say the gunman in this case is dead tonight after apparently taking his own life. All of this unfolded this afternoon at a small parochial school in the town of Palermo in Butte County. This is north of Sacramento. Authorities say the gunman arrived at Feather River Adventist School to meet with the principal about enrolling a student. After the meeting, the principal said he heard gunshots and then screaming. 2 boys, aged 5 and 6, were shot. They were both taken to hospitals. We do not know their conditions tonight. Parents rushed to the school after hearing about gunfire on campus. The school community shocked by what happened.
You know, being in a small town like this, the presumption is this won't happen here, but here we are in the middle of it, and it's extremely unfortunate. You know, even though it is unexpected, you know, in this time in the world, these things do happen.
So far, authorities have not released the identity of the gunman in today's shooting. We, of course, will continue following all the latest developments on this shooting today in Northern California. We move along here tonight, and new steps are being taken across the West to prepare for potential mass deportations that have been promised by President-elect Trump once he takes office. Today, the Los Angeles City Council formalized a new sanctuary city ordinance. This includes an urgency clause, meaning it will take effect within 10 days of being signed by the mayor. The ordinance prohibits city resources or personnel from being used to help federal enforcement of immigration laws. LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell says he's working with consulate offices for Mexico and Central American countries to draft a plan to protect immigrants ahead of the next Trump administration.
We move forward. My hope is to be able to provide a level of comfort to the community that is, you know, understandably very anxious about some of the rhetoric that we've heard. But our role here is to protect everyone in all of our communities. And if we were to engage in immigration enforcement or the roundups that people are talking about and fearful about, we would be undercutting our primary mission.
Los Angeles has upheld policies protecting immigrants for years. The city's new ordinance codifies them. Well, today, California's Attorney General renewed his promise to protect immigrants during the upcoming Trump administration. KTVU's Christian Captain reports tonight from San Francisco, where AG Rob Bonta says he's taking steps to Trump-proof California's policies. And Bonta says the state is prepared to go to court.
California State Attorney General Rob Bonta is speaking out, saying the state is ready to take a stand against any effort by the incoming Trump administration at mass arrests and deportations. The Attorney General visiting a library in Bernal Heights with handbooks on how libraries, schools, and other public institutions can comply with California laws stopping cooperation with federal immigration officials.
In response to the incoming Trump administration's threats of mass deportations, I want to take a moment to affirm that California's immigrant community has my support.
The Attorney General said he's prepared for a fight in the courts, saying state law is clear that institutions like libraries cannot collect immigration status information for federal authorities.
What SB 54 is about is saying that's your role and your job and you can do it. The counties and the state, our people, our local resources, our money, will not be used for that, as the 10th Amendment fully authorizes us to take that position.
San Francisco officials are also preparing. Incoming Mayor Daniel Lurie saying the city will uphold its sanctuary city laws.
Sanctuary city keeps our people safe, and I know that this is a national talking point right now. Mm-hmm. My focus is on making sure that we protect our immigrants, our LGBTQ community, and that's my focus.
Police Chief Bill Scott says sanctuary policies encourage people to cooperate in criminal investigations regardless of their immigration status, and that his officers will uphold the laws as they stand.
We have an obligation to our city and our society to uphold those laws, and there are good reasons that these laws exist. You know, we want people to feel comfortable when they call the police, when they need the police.
San Francisco's sheriff says his office walks a fine line, upholding sanctuary city laws while protecting the people. The sheriff's office is the only San Francisco agency that can respond to federal requests for immigration holds, and only under very specific circumstances, including when the person in question has been recently convicted of a serious or violent felony, or if the sheriff's office is ordered by a judge.
The way that we do things here in San Francisco, I think, should be a model for the rest of the nation in terms of how we do that balance between public safety risk and the needs of the community and our values here in terms of helping others.
President-elect Trump has indicated he will rely on local authorities to assist in his mass deportation plans, and today's press conference serves as a reminder that if they do so here in California, they'll be in violation of state law, a law that the Attorney General says he will go to court to defend. In San Francisco, Christian Cafton, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
And several elected leaders here in the West have promised they will not be dedicating any resources to mass deportations. Denver Mayor Mike Johnston issued a statement that says, in part, quote, "We will do everything in our power to protect those who live here. We are considering a number of options to strengthen protections for all our residents, and we continue to provide education about the rights of our immigrant community so they can best protect themselves from any unlawful actions." Also, the governors of Arizona and New Mexico have previously said that their states will not be cooperating in any way with mass deportation operations. We turn now to a major story that's making headlines across the country and here in the West. A massive manhunt continues tonight for the gunman who shot and killed the CEO of United Healthcare in New York City. Brian Thompson was shot early this morning outside the Hilton Hotel in Midtown Manhattan as he was heading into the company's investor meeting. Police say the masked gunman waited for Thompson to arrive and shot him in the back before running off. Police say the gunman rode an electric bicycle to Central Park, where he escaped.
We're pulling video from numerous locations, numerous sources, and we have him on our timeline walking, and what we're very fortunate is he has that very distinctive gray backpack on. So we see him on one video clip walking, and then another source of video him riding that bike.
At United Healthcare headquarters in Minnesota, flags were lowered to half staff today. Thompson had been CEO since 2021 and had worked there for 20 years. His wife said he'll be remembered as a great father to his two sons. Tonight, Las Vegas police and Clark County leaders are joining forces to focus on a dangerous problem: more street takeovers that are happening in their community. 3 takeovers happened just within hours of each other over this past weekend, and at one location, someone was shot. Fox 5's Sean Dowling spoke with a photographer who offers insight on how these illegal events are highly organized.
Those drivers left their mark all over town, like in the industrial corridor in Spring Valley. You can see tire tracks all over the road from drivers doing donuts and driving recklessly. Here's what we're talking about. The spectacle and the noise got the attention of Doug Roberts with LiveCore Productions, who followed the street takeovers all over the valley.
I had heard over the scanner that there was a street takeover. By the time I had gotten there, it was already broken up.
Roberts says the action started near the Strip on Alibaba and Polaris Saturday night into Sunday morning. Next up, Badura Avenue and Edmond Street, just south of the 215. And finally, the last car meetup in North Las Vegas, where police tell us a 22-year-old man was shot. Police say he was taken to the hospital and is expected to be okay. Roberts says it's all preventable, but he was surprised at how coordinated it all was.
It's a dangerous form of entertainment. One person or one vehicle would go out in the intersection, do the donuts, then they would leave, and another vehicle would emerge from the line and do it, and it would just go again and again. They would just get back in line.
That is, until police showed up. Roberts says it went like this. Police would respond to an intersection after getting calls of reckless driving. Everyone would scatter, only to do it again a short while later. Roberts says it was all put together on Instagram.
So at a red light, I could hear them talking. One of them was saying, my GPS is telling me to go straight. The other one is saying, but the address is to the left. So I knew they were all headed to the same address.
And that was Fox 5's Sean Dowling reporting tonight. The Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department has created a reckless apprehension intervention detail team with a mission to crack down on illegal racing and street takeovers. The team made 280 arrests for reckless driving last year. All right, coming up tonight on West Coast Wrap, another issue on the roads in some parts of the West. Cars covered in lights, trying to spread holiday cheer this time of year. But coming up tonight, we'll tell you about the law enforcement agency that is warning people about how this could be a distraction on the roads.
And in weather, here's our live camera in Seattle. It's a cold 34 degrees right now. We will update the forecast coming up after the break.
Also coming up tonight, the life of a pilot in training. See what they're doing right here in the West before they take flight. The Attorney General for the District of Columbia is suing Amazon for allegedly excluding some neighborhoods from Prime delivery. The AG is accusing the Seattle-based company of depriving residents in certain zip codes from access to Amazon Prime's high-speed delivery while still charging members the full subscription price. An Amazon spokesperson called the allegations categorically false. Amazon says it stopped using its own delivery trucks in these neighborhoods in 2022 as a safety measure, relying instead on UPS and the U.S. Postal Service to deliver packages. On Capitol Hill today, a hearing was held focused on airline junk fees, and the chair of the committee played a 7-second video taken at a Frontier Airlines gate. It shows an argument between a gate agent and passenger over the size of a carry-on bag, the passenger insisting it will fit into the overhead bin. The agent makes him get out of line, and he's required to pay a fee before he's allowed to board. And it was revealed during today's hearing that both Frontier and Spirit Airlines had a program in place that rewarded agents who forced passengers to check a carry-on bag.
Can we just clear this up once and for all? We're all here. We're all under oath. So, Mr. Schroeder, let's start with you. Do you charge a bounty? Do you pay employees bounties on carry-on bags to identify them?
Well,
it's a simple. That's a yes or no.
I wouldn't characterize it as a bounty.
Do you charge them? Do you pay your employees a fee? Do you incentivize them to go pick out bags from people getting on planes and kick them off the flight? Just yes or no?
We charge them an incentive.
Okay, that's a yes.
Frontier said agents get paid $10 when they make a passenger pay. Spirit said it canceled its program back in September. But it's not just the bag fees. An investigation found that between 2018 and 2023, 5 major airlines raked in about $12 billion on so-called junk fees. United, Spirit, Frontier, Delta, and American representatives were questioned today about those fees and why they charge as much as an extra $300 per ticket for extra legroom.
Our model ensures that customers only pay for the services they want, not what others want. Optional services, by definition, are not so-called junk fees, as optional services are not required to travel.
It is hard to listen to people talk about their commitment to transparency and then have them give you a bunch of different reasons why they can't be transparent.
Lawmakers also questioned the reward programs as well. It's still not clear what's going to come from this hearing, but passengers we talked to were clear about how they feel about those junk fees.
And I think the seats are too small for like a regularly sized human these days.
We had to pay extra for an extra bag because we have all of our kids' stuff, but we didn't actually end up having to pay extra to sit together. So, yeah, it's not fun. I wish everything were like Southwest.
I feel like that's endemic to everything we do now is extra fees.
All right, tonight, Delta Airlines' newest pilot training facility taking flight here in the West. Operators say the campus in Utah could help the industry keep up with the number of people who are looking to take seats in cockpits. Fox 13's Sean Moody had a chance to experience what these pilots in training go through.
This is the view out of a Delta A320 in the skies over Salt Lake City. I'm Sean Moody, actually on the ground right next to Salt Lake International Airport, where Delta has opened their first ever pilot training facility outside their headquarters in Atlanta. Salt Lake City has a long history with Delta. As a hub, they've always had a big presence here, but this new $50 million facility is different.
It's just amazing to have this facility here. It just shows their commitment to Salt Lake.
Captain Brian Reese is based here. He's been with the airline for 17 years, but aviation's been in his blood since before he can remember.
My father was a pilot, just something that was always there.
Keep going, there's 1, 2 more. Now, instead of going all the way to Atlanta for recurrent training, he and pilots from across the region can come here to Salt Lake instead. Delta pilots based in Salt Lake, Los Angeles, Seattle, and Minneapolis will come here to train in simulators for the A320, A350, and Boeing 737. In all, Delta expects 350 pilots per month to train here, bringing in $100,000 a month to hotels in the city. Before you can step into an A350 simulator, though, you have to learn to fly something a little bit smaller like this Cessna. Flight schools here in Salt Lake say they are seeing a lot of interest in aviation careers. Scott Olson is the director of flight training for Cornerstone Aviation, a Salt Lake City-based flight school where I was also once an instructor.
It's like, I could go to school to learn to work, or I could play by flying airplanes all the time. So I chose flying airplanes.
As pilot hiring looks to soar due to an increasing number of airline pilots reaching the mandatory retirement age of 65, Olson says the last few years are the busiest they've ever had.
With the industry changing, with how many pilots are needed and how the pilot pay has increased so much, we probably saw more interest in flight training in 2024 than we've ever seen. Or whether you want to go fly cargo or get on with the airlines, it's a great time to be a pilot.
As those brand new pilots work toward their first solo, they can see their goal just across the airport as Delta's pilot training facility ramps up, bringing the next generation of airline pilots up into the flight levels. 10. In the virtual skies over Salt Lake City, Sean Moody, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Well, in weather, no big storms are getting in the way of air travel. As you can see across the west coast, we are tracking just a band of clouds approaching Northern California and up in the Pacific Northwest, and a little bit of some green maybe approaching the Eureka area on the radar in terms of some light shower activity. Another warm day across Arizona, parts of California as well. San Jose in the Bay Area, 70 degrees, and Oakland in the Bay Area, the second day in a row we've had record warmth here, 70 degrees today, breaking the old record. 69 degrees set back on this day in 2014. The complete opposite, though, in terms of temperatures up in Seattle. You can see some cloud cover, a high today only at 42 degrees. And then in San Francisco, lots of sunshine, temperatures in the mid-60s. And, of course, we find the warm temperatures down to the south. Out in Phoenix, this was the scene today, a temperature close to 80, official high of 78 degrees this afternoon. Current numbers, it is 59 degrees in Las Vegas. Reno, Nevada is 40, and then up in the Pacific Northwest, it's chilly, 41 in Portland. Seattle's 33 degrees. As we show you the radar, I've kind of backed out the view just to show you it is fairly quiet across the west coast. There's some rain showers moving out of Texas, but as you do work your way closer to the west, not a lot of activity to show you just watching this one cell approaching the north coast of California. So here is the plan for tomorrow for Seattle. It remains chilly, a sun cloud mix, temperatures in the 40s. In San Francisco, some clouds in the morning. A nice forecast for Los Angeles, also in the Phoenix area. Temperatures will be in the 70s, and Denver actually warming back up into the 50s for tomorrow with lots of sunshine. So here is the forecast model. We'll take this into your Thursday with maybe a slight chance of some showers approaching Seattle. For the most part, a sun cloud mix. And then as we do put this into motion into Friday, we could be tracking some more rain chances up to the north for Friday. It looks like that rain really develops as we do move into the weekend for Seattle for both Saturday and into Sunday. For Northern California, it looks like some clouds kind of creeping into the north coast of California, also approaching San Francisco as well. So here is the plan over the next 3 days. We have that sun cloud mix for Seattle tomorrow. Chance of showers on Friday. We're going to bump up the rain chances by Saturday. The warm temperature is definitely focused to the south, close to 70 degrees for Los Angeles. And then in Phoenix, lots of sunshine. Those readings back up into the 70s, 76 to 79 degrees. So a fairly quiet weather pattern for tomorrow, but over the next few days, we'll see that pattern evolve into maybe some more rain, kind of maybe a more rain event up in the Pacific Northwest for both Saturday and into Sunday.
All right, but we will enjoy the quiet for right now.
There you go.
Mark, thank you. Coming up tonight here on West Coast Wrap, some people decking more than just the halls over the holiday season. Tonight, why one law enforcement agency here in the West is trying to discourage drivers from covering their cars in holiday lights.
Look at them lights, and then they're like, oh man, look at that car.
I do think it adds a level of danger for drivers.
People from all over our country come to our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. When they see this majestic Christmas tree, they'll be reminded of our farthest north state. Though far away, we are united in love for our country.
That's Alaska fourth grader Rose Burke, and she's hoping her holiday message reaches people all across the country. She took to the stage last night at the U.S. Capitol Christmas tree lighting ceremony to help get everyone in the spirit of the season. This year's tree on the Capitol's west front lawn is from Burke's home state. The 80-foot-tall Sitka spruce was harvested from the Tongass National Forest. Well, a lot of us get into the holiday spirit by putting up lights on our homes and, of course, our trees, but attaching holiday lights to your car can be risky. Fox's Greg Nieto has more on the warning coming from one sheriff's department in Colorado.
For Philip Trujillo Jr., it's the happiest time of year.
This is the only other girl I get to put money into besides her.
Showing off his 1987 Chevy S10 Blazer Tahoe, vice president of the Just Casual Car Club.
Wow, look at them lights. And then they're like, oh man, look at that car.
Christmas lights attached to his ride only when participating in Christmas parades. Owner of a hydraulic shop, well-versed in Christmas car light can and cannot do's.
They actually sell undercarriage lights, wheel well lights, and stuff like that to where the light goes to the ground and it's not like in the driver's face.
Down in Douglas County,
we want you to be festive, but save it for your tree.
Deputies like Shane Belzy are educating drivers on the road and via social media. 2 times over the past week, DougCo deputies have pulled over vehicles to educate drivers.
I do think it adds a level of danger for drivers.
Take a look at the 2 examples. A lot to look at, a lot to overlook.
And if we throw in the Christmas lights on top of that, we're running the risk of blocking out our blinkers. We're blocking out other vehicles on the roadway, which we might not see headlights anymore.
Education over enforcement.
If we just run with the lights we're supposed to have on our cars, we're limiting the roadway hazard.
Philip Trujillo Jr. and Just Casual Car Club steer away from anything hazardous, especially during the happiest time of year.
I feel if you want to decorate your car full of Christmas lights, at least leave them off when you're driving.
And that was Greg Nieto reporting tonight. Driving with Christmas lights on your car is illegal in most states, and drivers who break the rules could potentially face fines. Finally, tonight, video of a high school football game is getting a lot of attention online. This is from Friday's Arizona College Prep game in Chandler. The school's football team planning to make a dramatic entrance on the field by bursting through the flaps of that inflatable tunnel. But as you can see, the flaps failed. That led to a dramatic entrance, but not necessarily the one the team was planning. Players eventually went around the tunnel. By the way, Arizona College Prep beat Snowflake High School that night. That does it for West Coast Wrap. Have a great night.